In this video, we are going to show you how to create the templates for the report card, and you don't want to miss the second video in which we will show you how to apply them to the different base groups you have. So first of all, we are going to the section of report cards templates in the main menu. We are going to create a new one by pulsing on the plus button. We have to choose a title. For example, it will be First Assessment 22-23, and we save it. Now we have a blank page in which we are going to introduce all the items we want to appear on the report cards. So you have here the menu for the different widgets with the different items we can add to our report cards, to our structure. And then we have an editor to customize all the items we will have and the data source, but we will explain this part later. So to start, we are going to put a title of on our report card. So it's really easy. You just have to click on it and drag it until the place you want it to have on the structure. So for example, here, then you click on it and you can move it this way. So you see the editor with the different options you have to customize the structure. So you can change the font, you can change the style, the size of the text, its content, the color of the title, if you want to change and add a color background, a border color, rounded corners. You have many options to make it appear as you prefer. So I'm going to give it a title. It will be again First Assessment 22-23. I will select the orange color and I will put it a bit bigger. Okay, so then we are going to add some student information. So another time a title, which will be the name of the student. Then we are going to drag the text. So of course you can change the size. You can see where my mouse is and you can reduce or put bigger as you prefer. Okay, so that will be the name of my student. Here will be the surname. And where I am introducing the text, it's the place where we will link the data source after, so that these cells are going to be linked to the name of each student afterwards, but we are going to explain it after. So now I want to add an image. So it's the same way, you just place it where you want it to be on the report card. And I'm going to add my centers logo and change a little bit its size. Okay, this way seems pretty good. So we can also add a divisor line and change its size. It's the line also here, you can change it thinner, bigger, as you prefer, change its colors. I'm going to let it orange also. So once it's done, we are going to start with the evaluation part. Okay, so I'm going to introduce now a marks table where are going to be, here I'm going to put some grades for my students, but we are going to see we have many options. So I change the size, and you can also see here the different options you have for this table. Okay, so we can change the number of columns, rows, okay, the border weight. So here I'm going to add 2 more columns because I'm going here to add in the first one it will be the subject, here it will be an average, here it will be a project grade, here the behavior with icons, and here a comment. Okay, and I'm going to quit one row because I will just link to subjects. It's just for the example. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to change also the colors, so it will be the same colors as my logo. So once the table is put, I'm going also to add a graph radar, okay, for the skills. So I change a little bit the size, okay, I want it smaller. I'm going to add a title. Okay, I will put the title at the left, so I change the title. It will be skills graph radar. Okay, I will put it also range. And here you also have some options to personalize it. So you can choose the different positions, the different colors of the graph. In that case, I'm going to put it also orange. And now I'm going to add a few comments. Okay, so I'm going to add a comment for a general comment, okay, like it will be the same comment for all the group, and another comment that will be different for each student, and that will be the comment, for example, of the main teacher, of the responsible of the group. So I change the title, it will be general comments here, orange, and I will add the text, and in the text we will link the comment we want to appear in the report card. There is another option. You can press the right click from the mouse and you can duplicate the component. So that's really useful because then it already has the aesthetics of the previous comment, okay, that you duplicate, and you just have to change the name, okay? And it's the same, it works the same way for the text, for example. Okay, so now that is done, it's really important that you save your work, okay? It will enable you to work later on this template. So it's really important to save it so that you don't lose the information you just introduced. Okay, so when it's done, if there is anything you want to change, to move, you can do it, okay? You can change the structure at any time. So now we have all the aesthetic parts done. We are going to link and add the information from the data source, okay? Which of the items we are going to work in all the different sections. So you're not going to add the information directly on each cell, okay, or each text here. We are going to take the information we already have in our base groups. So we have to go on the pencil here in the data source, and you have several sections to add the different items you will need in the report cards. Okay, so first of all, general data, it's the information that are going to be the same for all the students in the school. Okay, like for example, the school name, its address, etc. Okay, so in that case, we're not going to add any information from here. Then we have the student data, which will be the information that will affect only at the student. For example, its name, its surname. And here we are going to add a group for the comments because, as we said earlier, we are going to add a group which will be general for the base group and another one which will be specific for each student. So at any time, I will determine which will be the information that will be linked in all the concepts that we created. So I will add a group that will be comments, okay, and I will add the two items. So here it will be general comments, okay? And you have several options. You can choose if it's a specific text per student, a number icon, or a common text for all students. In that case, as it will be the general comment, I will choose this option, common text. But for example, for the personalized comment, then it will be a specific text per student. For the number and icon, we are going to see them in the next section. Okay, so once this is done, we are going to prepare the data for graphs and tables. Okay, so we go to this section, and now we are going to add two groups, one for the graph and one for the table. Okay, so first of all, I will create the one for the table. So I will add here create table, and here I'm going to add all the subjects, so all the concept that I will want to add in my columns. For example, the first column will be the subject, the second one is going to be the average, etc. So we are going here to add all the columns names, let's say, to prepare the linking with the corresponding information. So as I said, here it will be the subject. So it will be a common text for all students because all the students will see, for example, visual arts, French, math, etc. The second column we say will be an average. In that case, I'm going to put a specific text because we will introduce a conditional value so that instead of the number, it will appear the text that I want to appear. For example, mastery or not at mastery. Okay, the next column will be the project grade, so it will be a number. Next one will be the behavior. It will be an icon. And finally, the last one will be the comments, and it will be a specific text per student. Okay, so once this one is done, we are going to do the same thing for the radar graph. Okay. And here I'm going to add the different skills we are going to work on. So I'm adding as many fields as I have skills that I worked on during the period. Okay, so here it will be the skills that are be worked on the school. So critical. In your school, you may have the skills that you want that you're working. There is no problem. You can put the skills that you need. Once we have all the skills here, we can see that it's specific text per student that appears. We have to change it as number so that we can correctly link it to the graph. Once it's done, we just have to save. And now that we prepared all the data source, we can link in all the fields the different information we prepared. Okay, so which information from the data source I'm going to link to this text, to this column, etc. Okay, so for example, we'll start here with the personalized comments. I'm going to the data source and I can see the different items I created earlier. So I will choose personalized comment. I will do the same thing for the general one. I will also prepare the name and the surname. So here it was the student data. Okay, and now I'm going to go on the pencil and select the surname and the name of the student because I'm going to link these two fields. Okay, you can do it earlier or you can do it now. It's as you want. So I save, and now I have these fields here that appears. So for example, for the name, I will mark the name, and for the surname, I will mark the surname. So the different texts are already prepared, and now I'm going to do it for the grade and for the skill rather. I click on my table, okay, and I can see the different groups I prepared before. So I will mark the grades table, and now I can see that configure just appears here. So I will click on configure to set the different items. The first thing we have to do is to choose how we want to link the table. In that case, we're going to link it by columns as it's the different elements that we prepared before. So as we said, the first column will be the subject, then the average, then the project, behavior, and comments. Okay, so we save this, and now it's prepared. Now we will have already the table set with the information we want to link from the data source. In the next video, we are going to show you how to apply the different grades. And now for the skills graph radar, we are just going to apply the skills radar here, but as we already have the concept of all the items, we are going to work in a crossing way between the different subjects. The grade is going to apply automatically, but we will see it in the next video. Okay, so once all of this is done, we are going to save our report template. And in the next video, we are going to show you how to apply this structure, this template, to all of our base groups.